I'm Kelly, and I have baggage. Don't we all? I'm a therapist, but I'm also someone who deals with generalized anxiety disorder every day. I wanted to come here today and share about the events of my story. And my mom is here, and I know she's probably more nervous than I am right now, so I love you. But I wanted to share my story of what happened 6 years ago and how I was really forced to come face to face with my own issues and work through them. So at the time, I think it was 2016, way pre-COVID and all that good stuff, I had just dealt with the loss of a friend. Our friendship ended, and we had done a lot of life together, so that was a big loss for me. In addition, I had moved back home with my parents and my youngest brother, and my youngest brother was dealing with his own mental health issues at the time, so home life was stressful. No offense. But I was also I was a case manager for people with developmental disabilities, and case management is stressful, so life in general was just kind of a little bit crazy. So I was dealing with all my own emotions, anxiety, codependency, insecurity. Well, one day at church, I was introduced to a new friend, and we just became very quick friends, and I thought that she was kind of everything my life had been missing. She was fun, she was funny, she liked dogs, I love dogs, and we just hit it off. And I was like, this is what my life needs, more fun and excitement and, some good stuff. Well, just about as quickly as we became friends, I soon realized she was a severe alcoholic. Most people would take this as kind of a sign to, maybe set up some boundaries and, take a step back and realize kind of how they wanted to handle this. No. At the time, due to my own insecurities, I thought the red flags were a carnival. So I jumped in, hook, line, sinker, head first, and I was determined that I was going to save her from her addiction. Let me just give you a look forward and tell you that did not work. Anyway, my whole life over that next year was complete chaos. I took her to detox, she relapsed, took her to detox again, rehab, in and out. Every single major holiday that year was ruined and I used to say due to her choices, but truthfully, it was my choice that led to having her in my life. I remember that year at Christmas, all my family was in town, my brothers were in from out of state, and instead of spending the last night with my family looking at Mount Dora's Christmas lights, I was pulling my drunk friend off the dock. I kind of wanted to throw her in the water at that point, but I didn't. So anyway, skip to that April, and I realized that I couldn't save her. She had to go to long-term rehab, and I was forced to deal with my baggage. I didn't have any of my excuses anymore. I didn't have anybody else to save. I had to deal with my own stuff. I thought that was the hardest thing that I've ever dealt with, but the truth is, and it was, but it was also the best. Because I made the choice, due to God's grace, the support of wonderful friends and family, and definitely therapy, I was forced to deal with my own stuff. I had to come face to face with that codependency, the insecurity, the anxiety, and I had to look at it and deal with it. And I didn't like what came out of my suitcase. But I can tell you that I found more hope and healing than I ever thought possible. It wasn't easy, but it was so worth it. I know in today's world we have so many different roles, and you could be a mom and a wife and an employee or a business owner, a pastor. We have so many different roles. I always remind myself and my clients, though, that our ultimate responsibility is to ourselves. It's to really take ourselves by the hand, give ourselves the support, and work through that stuff because you're so worth it. I wanted to end this by reading one of my favorite poems. It's by Mary Oliver, and it's called The Journey. And it says, one day you finally knew what you had to do and began. Though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice, though the whole house began to tremble and you felt the old tug at your ankles. Mend my life, each voice cried, but you didn't stop. You knew what you had to do. though the wind pried its stiff fingers at the very foundations, though their melancholy was terrible. It was already late enough and a wild night, and the road full of fallen branches and stones. But little by little, as you left their voice behind, the stars began to burn through the sheets of clouds, and there was a new voice, which you slowly recognized as your own, that kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing you could do, determined to save the only life that you could save. And when I finally made that choice to not just work on saving everybody else, but saving myself from my own issues, that's when I truly found hope and healing. About a year after I had been through all of that, I had always thought that I wanted to go back to school to be a therapist. And when I was going through all that with my friend, I thought I was going to go back to school to help people like her, people caught up in addictions and drug and alcohol abuse. The truth is, when I truly got into school and into doing the work, I realized that my calling was to help people like myself, people with codependency, people who really needed to own their own junk and work through their issues, just like I had worked through mine. And now it's the privilege of my life to get to live in my calling. And it's all because of God's faithfulness and because I have taken the time to really do my own work. We're all still a work in process, and I do my work each and every day, and sometimes some weeks are harder than others. But if I want to encourage you all to really take the time, face your mental health, get the support you need, and you'll find more hope and healing that you ever thought possible. I know I have. Thank y'all so much.